Social media may seem like a lot of fun and games for CEOs and other senior members of organizations, but as the technology matures and policies mature, one of the big questions that we're asking in the CIO Canada debate, how can social media be used by Canada to make the country more competitive? There's always talk in Canada of a brain drain and a challenge to find the right kind of talent. According to Michael Gladstone, CIO at the International Institute of Business Analysis, social media might prove a really effective way to bring all kinds of new people into the organization.
I mean, social media, what it does is facilitate communication. And at the end of the day, it's people working within organizations that need to communicate in order to get things done and be more productive and more competitive, make their organizations more competitive. Social media is a different way of doing that and gives people new tools to communicate. Something that we do is our online career center will automatically tweet any job that's been posted. And what that does is it gets that job out there, and any of our Twitter followers can then retweet that and so on and so on. So we reach a much bigger pool of people than we would otherwise, just people coming to our site to check out our career center. So I think it's a great example of where something relatively simple gives you the opportunity to get out and reach a bigger market, the bigger pool of people that you're able to rely on, say, for a new job, the better quality applicants that you're going to get, the better person you're going to be able to bring into that role and go from there.
According to Steve Groves, CIO at Good Life Fitness, the effective use of social media might make us both more cosmopolitan and bring out some of our innate Canadianness.
I think Canadians, by and large, have always been regarded as being polite and good communicators and generally easy people to develop rapport with. So if you think of that as being something that we potentially have an opportunity to leverage, and we can leverage it in a global space in a real-time environment in the way that social media allows us to do, then I think you really do have an interesting opportunity to take advantage of what makes Canadians who they are and use that to reach out to the business world and interact with possible partners and customers around the world. And along those lines, I was actually just recently in Europe and started playing around with some of the more updated Twitter tools that have translation capability in them. So I was speaking at a conference where it was being translated in real time in 4 different languages. And it was fascinating after the fact to be able to go back and look at the back channel, look at the Twitter feed, recognize that in a lot of cases what was in there was in a language obviously I didn't understand, but could pull those through the Twitter channel or through the Twitter client that I was using, do a translation, and then respond back to the person in their language of choice. And obviously these kinds of translation tools aren't bulletproof, and you probably wouldn't want to use them to translate legal contracts, for example. But when you're talking about 140 characters and trying to get the gist of a message, it was a phenomenal experience to actually have that interaction, and they not necessarily be overly comfortable with English and me not be comfortable with whatever language of choice that they had.